Hey, I'm Devin White, and welcome back to the Installing Inner Game blog. Today I want to answer a question from Pam, which is, you say several sentences that you leave the answer blank, like, first I notice, and then I notice. When I'm listening to IIG, I feel very relaxed, but I don't feel any body part specifically, and I don't know what I'm doing in my default. So every time I hear these blanks for answers, my mind fills it in with, I don't know, and I get a bit scared that maybe I'm not getting the benefit out of it, and that maybe I won't reach my default state if I can't fill in the blanks. Am I doing something wrong? All right, so first of all, Pam, one of the things that you want to always do is go, this is perfect. I'm not a big fan of mantras, but if I give any mantra as an assignment to any of my students or clients, it's, this is perfect. And the reason that this is perfect is because this is what's happening, which means that this is what's supposed to be happening. And because it's what's supposed to be happening, it must be perfect. Which brings you back around to, this is perfect. One of the reasons for this is because you want to continually be giving yourself the input and the signal that the system is well formed. That doesn't mean that you don't want to make improvements, you don't want to optimize, you don't want to troubleshoot. It doesn't mean any of that. It means that you are giving a constant signal to yourself of, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, I'm okay, this is perfect. As soon as you start going, am I doing something wrong? Is this not going correct? Then what happens is the system goes, uh-oh, I'm in trouble, and you start setting up a chemical cocktail that makes it hard to learn, it makes it hard to have great health, it makes it hard to have all of the things that you want, which means that it interrupts your experience of being default. When you're in the default, things are perfect, even when they're not. Even when you've got that flat tire, even when you just broke up with the love of your life, even when everything is going wrong, it's still okay. As for filling in the blanks on that track in the part of Installing Inner Game where I'm asking those questions, what you want to do is simply be open. The next time that you listen to it, when I say the first thing I notice is, and I leave it blank, just simply be and allow whatever comes up to come up. Don't interrupt the experience by going, this isn't right. And if you do, don't worry about it. Just go, oh, okay, I said this isn't right, and that must be what I'm supposed to say right now, because that's perfect. But really what you want to be getting to is, when I ask that question, there is an immediate neurosomatic response. Neurosomatic just means your nervous system wired in with your musculature. So the way that your brain and your central nervous system innervates through your peripheral nervous system out into all of your muscles. And when I ask it, when you hear that question, before you have a cognitive answer in your head, oh, I'm doing this, your body responds. Right? This is, we fall back on one of the old tricks of NLP and hypnosis and communication strategies, which is trust everything that someone says except for what comes out of their mouth. So you want to be brailing your own body. So just pay attention to, oh wow, there was a shift. There was a shift in my body. The first thing I notice is, and you'll notice something, maybe your pelvis shifted. Maybe you breathed a little more deeply. And if you don't get it the first time, that's fine. If you're not getting it already, I would expect it might take 4, 5, 6 times before you really begin sensitizing yourself to what the first thing is that you experience. And that's fine. I would say just listen to that section over and over and over again. Do it a few times a day. Because that's the most important thing, is beginning to track the experience of how you are when you're in your default. And if you don't have any idea what that means, just be open to the experience. This is I Ching, this is, Buddhism. Just go with the flow and just allow the experience to come up. What I know is that after over a decade and a half of working with people, a lot of the times the first thing that we're doing is we're simply establishing a category. We're going, there's this way of being where you're perfect. I'm going to give it a name. It's called the default. You've had an experience for it. You've had the experience before, and you have some other word for it. Your word is more important because we want you to be able to, I want you to be able to go, oh, it can be snicker, snacker, doodle. It doesn't matter what you call it. It just has to be something that fits with you. A lot of people have heard words and they've associated it into it. Happy, at my best, I'm in the flow zone, flow state. Whatever it is for you, the point is be open to the experience. Now that you have that word for it, you have a category of your brain that's going, oh, this is important. And where you put your attention is where you get your results. So if you continue to put your attention on being in the default over and over and over again, what started off as a single neuron that was like, wow, here I am in the world. It's fun to be here. I like being in the default. This is fantastic. Now that neuron, that the third or the fifth or the 10th time, it started off like, oh, I think I remember an experience like that when I was 3. Oh, wow, I had another one when I was 13. And it starts to associate all of these times, and then it reaches out, and it grabs onto another local neuron. That neuron can have a connection with 10,000 other neurons around it. It can make all of these connections, and the more that you put your attention there, the more that it reaches out and develops density. It develops gravity. It develops the ability to drag more and more of your attention like gravity, pulling your awareness into your default, and suddenly, the 10th time that you're listening to it, and I go, there's this way that you are, and the first thing that you notice is, and there's a blank space left open. And without even trying, something just erupts from you. And suddenly you know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, it's not a word, it's an experience. And you're in the experience, and now you know. Everybody wants to do it backwards. They want the words. They want to understand so then they can get it, so then they can have the experience. And that's totally the opposite of how learning reels. Have the experience, then get it, then you can have an intellectual understanding about it. Installing Inner Game was designed to get you out of your head. So do yourself a favor and just let that whole thing go. Don't worry about it. Don't want for it. Just go, I'm open to the experience, and when it comes, it comes. And the more you do it, the more that neuron will reach out, and suddenly it'll have a community of neurons that are going default, 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 default. And then you're walking through your day, and suddenly, bam, you're in it. You just, out of nowhere, find that you're in the default in relation to another person, in relation to whatever it is that you're doing. And the more attention you put on being there, the more you're going to build the habit, and it's going to begin just coming up for you. I hope that helps. I will get to your other questions soon. Thanks so much for writing in, everybody. I hope you're enjoying Installing Inner Game. Feel free to send me emails, comment on the blog, and I'm having a great time, and I look forward to responding. This is Devin White for Installing Inner Game. You be well.